Now guys, let us see another concept in this. So first thing is that we have understood and means multiplication. That is, and simply means is that you've got a work, and this work involves doing, let us suppose, n number of jobs. So if you do n number of jobs from here, you can do the work, right? So for this work to be completed, it's very important for all these, n jobs to be completed. And this is where you use the principle of multiplication, right? This is where you use the the principle of multiplication. So where do you use or, right? Where do you use or? Or means addition. Or means addition. Now I will tell you, let us suppose this is work, right? This work is simply my destination, right? Where I want to reach. This work is simply my destination. Now I can reach this destination either by this way, or let us suppose by this way, or let us suppose by this way. So there are three ways to reach the same destination, that is to do this work W, right? So there are three ways, right? And this way involves J1, J2 jobs. This way involves J3, J4. This way involves J5, J6, right? So if I consider only this way, right, in how many ways W can be done will be equals to J1, number of ways in which J1 can be done, let us suppose M1, and number of ways in which J2 can be done, that is M2. So M1 into M2, right? Now if I consider this way of achieving the same destination, that is work done, again I can, in how many ways can the work be done, that will be equals to M3 into M4. Similarly, if I consider this way, in how many ways W can be done will be M5 into M6. So in particular ways, right, in particular ways which involves a jobs to be done to achieve this destination, that is W, you use the principle of multiplication. But in total, if I ask you in how many ways W can be done in total, right, considering all the ways of achieving the W, you will say me that this will be equals to M1 into M2. This is, the number of ways in which the first way will lead to W, plus M3 into M4. These are the number of ways in which the second way will lead to W, plus M5 into M6, right? These are the number of ways in which number of ways in which the third way will lead to W, and you add all the three, you find out the total number of ways in which this W can be done. So this is the difference between and or. And involves multiplication, so it involves all the jobs that are needed to be done in synchronism, right, to achieve that work, to achieve that destination. But the same destination can be achieved through different ways, and in order to find out the total number of ways in which the particular work W should be done, we have to add all these ways, right? All these ways have to be added, right? So this is where we use the principle of addition, that is or. So this concept has to be very, very clear to you. If you understand this concept well, you will be able to solve all the questions pretty well. We'll see this with the help of an example. Let me delete this entire thing. I will really advise you, to go through these concepts again and again so as to be able to understand, what is happening over here. So let us see this question, a very, very interesting question. So a student has to select a letter either from vowels or from consonants. Student has to select a letter. Means the destination is to select a letter inside this box. And a student can select it from either vowels or from consonant. Then in how many ways she can make this selection? So there are two ways of, filling this box, right? Either you can fill in it with a vowel, or you can fill in it with a consonant. Now, if you consider this way, what are the number of ways in which you can fill in it with a vowel? 5 ways, because there are 5 ways in which V job can be done. A, E, I, O, U. Then, in how many ways can you do this job C? In 21 ways. So if I ask you complete total number of ways, that will be equals to 5 plus 21. Because see, these are two different ways which lead to the same destination, right? These two don't need to be performed together to reach the destination, right? So if jobs are needed to be performed together to reach a destination, you use the principle of multiplication. But if they are mutually exclusive, means they are different ways to reach the same destination, you have to add it. So what were the two different ways? One is that you can find out this letter to be A, E, I, O, U, any vowel, so you can do it with 5 ways. The other ways is that you can put in some consonants as well, B, C, D, etc. And if you add, that is 21 plus 5, that gives you 26 unique ways of selecting a letter, a single letter. This is what the student has to do here. Now let us see another question which is very common inside competitive exams, and see it clearly. It's very easy, right? So how many four-digit numbers can be formed using 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 letters and you have to form a four-digit number. Now the first case is repetition of the digits is not allowed, and second case is the repetition of the digit is allowed. Now let us take the first case where the repetition of the digits is not allowed. So see, it's a 4-letter word. You have got 4 boxes. This is what you have to do. You have to make 4 boxes, right? And then you have to see which box can have minimum number of ways of entering a number. This is the trick over here. You have to see which box is having minimum number of ways of entering a number. So if I take this box, I can fill it with 6 different ways, right? If I take this box first, I can fill it with 6 different ways. If I take this box first, I can fill it again with 6 different ways. If I take this box first, I can again fill it with 6 different ways, right? Because there are 6 words. But if I take this box first, I can fill it with only 5 different ways. Why? Because I cannot put 0 over here. If I put 0 over here, it becomes a 3-letter word. And this is the first homework that I have to do, is I have to find out the box which if I fill it first, it will involve the least number of letters, right? So then I will start from here. Since this is the box, right, which involves less number of letters, so this is the box from which we start, and then you go ahead. So in how many ways can this be filled? This will be filled in 5 different ways, because I cannot put 0 over here. 5 different ways it can be filled. Now the second box can be filled in 5 different ways. You know why? Because this first box has already consumed 1 letter, right? So you are left with only 5 letters. So 5 different ways. The third box can be filled in 4 different ways. Why? Because the earlier 2 boxes have already consumed 2 letters. So you are left with only 4 letters. So it can be filled with 4 different ways. Similarly, the last box can be filled with 3 different ways, because the first 3 boxes have already taken up 3 letters. So you just have 3 letters in your hand to actually fill it. Now these are all the 4 jobs that are done to achieve the destination of making a 4-digit number. So in how many ways a 4-digit number can be formed? That is 5 into 5 into 4 into 3, that becomes 300. Right? Now let us see the another part of this question. If repetition was allowed, again you have to follow the same thing. You have to find out the box which can be filled with least number of numbers, and this is the first box. So it can be filled with 5 digits. 5 ways it can be filled, actually 5 ways of filling this box, because you cannot include 0. Then you come to the second box. Second box, since repetition is allowed, so you can use any of the 6 digits. Similarly, third box, you can use any of the 6 digits, and similarly fourth box, you can use any of the 6 digits. So the number of ways of accomplishing this task of making a 4-digit number with repetition allowed will be equals to 5 into 6 into 6 into 6. That becomes 1080. So see, there's a huge difference, right? If you allow repetition, there will be 1040, 4-digit numbers can be formed from these 6 digits. If you don't allow this repetition, only 300 digits could be formed with this.